The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. COVID-19 vaccinations are also ongoing in Manila City this afternoon. AstraZeneca shots were used in Ramon Magsaysay High School today, as these were reserved for those in the A1 to A3 priority groups. Now, the vaccination began at 6 in the morning and will run until 8 in the evening or until the supplies would run out. Now, the Manila Health Department says there are 19 vaccination sites across the city, and at least 15 schools are used for Sinovac inoculations, while the rest of the hubs are for AstraZeneca and Pfizer. Okay, let's get more report about vaccination programs. Joining us is JC Cosico. He's reporting live from Quezon City. JC, why were they not vaccinated immediately?
Riza, some senior citizens who walked in were dismayed as they were not jabbed despite being part of the priority list. Authorities said walk-ins are not allowed because they only have 1,000 reserved doses for today. Only those who booked online and with confirmed schedules will receive AstraZeneca shots at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. QC VaxNormal co-chair Joseph Uwico reminded the public that there's limited reserved vaccine shots per day, so walk-ins are highly discouraged. Those senior citizens who walked in were listed instead in the quick substitution list. They can still receive shots today should there be vaccination deferrals, but they might be rescheduled on a later date. Uwico said QC residents may register for the COVID-19 vaccination either online or in their respective barangays. So far, QC has vaccinated over 150,000 residents from the A1 to A3 sectors, still far from their 1.7 million target to achieve herd immunity. Riza, in the meantime, Pfizer vaccinations are being held in 3 hospitals in the city, while vaccinations here at the Big Dome will continue until May 21, and possible extension will depend on available supplies and manpower. Back to you.
Thank you very much. That's JC Cosico reporting live from Quezon City. Meanwhile, COVID-19 vaccinations are also ongoing in Manila City. AstraZeneca shots were used in Ramon Magsaysay High School today, as these were reserved for those in the A1 to A3 priority groups. The vaccination began at 6 in the morning and will run until 8 in the evening or until the supplies run out. The Manila Health Department says there are 19 vaccination sites across the city. At least 15 schools are used for Sinovac inoculations, while the rest of the hubs are for AstraZeneca and Pfizer. Now, here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III received his dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Iligan City, Isabela, earlier today. Personnel from Cagayan Valley Medical Center assisted Bello in the preparation and actual administration of the vaccine. Bello, as a senior citizen, belongs to the priority group as listed by the IATF. Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri is appealing to the IATF and the DOH to allow the vaccination of economic and government frontliners as soon as possible. Zubiri says since some of the vaccination centers are empty right now, the government could open up the next level in the priority list. And Senator Joel Villanueva is pushing for drive-through or mega vaccination sites for delivery riders and couriers. Villanueva says this could help speed up the utilization of over 5 million vaccines facing expiry. He adds that delivery riders deserve to be rewarded and protected for unselfishly serving their customers. And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon is standing by the new terror designations issued by the Anti-Terrorism Council. In today's Laging Handa briefing, Esperon insisted that no further evidence is needed. The ATC has designated CPP founder Jose Maria Sison and 18 others as terrorists based on, quote, verified and validated information.
Kailangan pa ba natin ng malinaw na ebidensya kung yung 19 na nakalagay dyan ay mga Central Committee members ng Communist Party of the Philippines na nagpapatakbo ng insurgency ng 52 years na.
Esperon assured the public that the government's guidelines in designating terrorists are in line with the UN Security Council resolution.
Yung aming proseso ay dumadaan sa magkakasamang combined effort ng mga agencies na members ng Anti-Terrorism Council.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Israel explains the tension in Gaza and why he thinks the conflict between Israel and Palestine will end soon. More of this on Bloomberg's Balance of Power.
Well, Hamas and Israel are engaged in yet another war. It's the fourth one, I think, and we've kind of seen this movie before. Hamas, in this case, took advantage of the situation in Jerusalem, which was very hot because of police engagement in the mosque in Jerusalem, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, holiest day of the Muslim year, and plus evictions, a whole lot of tension in Jerusalem. They took advantage of that to become what they call the Sword of Jerusalem by firing on Jerusalem, something which they've never done before. And the Israelis have responded to that, and then they're off to the races. So we've had 5 days of intensive rocket fire from Gaza and intensive Israeli bombing attacks and now ground fire into Gaza. But I do think that it's reaching its kind of high point at this stage and will soon peter out. I expect that in the next few days we'll have a ceasefire. And that I say that because both sides have limited objectives. The Israelis don't want to topple Hamas in Gaza. The Hamas just wants to show that it can fire rockets into Israel. At a certain point, neither side has anything more to achieve by continuing to fire. And that's why Egyptian and American envoys have turned up in Israel today. And I think we'll see progress. I hope we'll see progress in the near future towards a ceasefire.
So, Mr. Ambassador, as you said, this is not the first time we've seen this kind of conflict. I think it was 2014, wasn't it, where actually Israeli forces went into Gaza. One of the questions right now is, do we expect those ground forces not just to fire over the border from Israel into Gaza, but do we expect them to actually go into Gaza?
It's possible that they have some kind of operation in mind there. But in general, the Israelis are reluctant to go into Gaza because of past experience. What happens is that drives up the casualty rate on the Palestinian side quite dramatically because Hamas operates in built-up areas. It drives up Israeli military casualties. And in terms of, it's not clear what it is that Israel can achieve since it doesn't want to reoccupy Gaza. It left Gaza. And therefore, I think that Netanyahu in particular, who is generally cautious, is going to be careful, especially because it looks like Israel's going into the 5th election in the last 2 years. He's going to be wary about going into elections with a war going on. Plus, the other factor, which we haven't talked about, is that the streets of major cities in Israel are roiling at the moment between Jewish and Arab mobs that are attacking each other every night. The police have not been able to bring it under control. There's also a lot of demonstrations going on in the West Bank. So the potential for this to escalate on the ground in different areas is such that I think that Netanyahu will want to bring it to a close pretty quickly.
And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.